Hey, Zedmont! It's a DrT Tropical day. As you can see by the fancy animation I've got here, it's not so tropical. It's actually snowing here, and we've got about 6 to 8 centimeters on the ground. That's about 4 inches for those south of the border. That may seem like a standard thing to happen in Canada, but it never snows here. We had to find our snow shovel. I think we bought it 5 years ago, the last time it snowed. My kids have been out in the snow playing since it was dark. It's a little bit crazy. It's probably going to melt and turn into slush, but for now we've got some snowmageddon happening. I've been asked to do DrT upload every day. I don't often get to it, but I'm going to try to do my best here. I'm going to try and take it back to the old meat and potatoes approach. Try and go over some basic things that I do every single tropical tear. So let's see how it's gonna look with this ridiculous snow. Should I leave the snow on? Yeah, let's leave this. No, let's take it off. I'm gonna get rid of that snow. If you like the snow, let me know. I can leave it on next time it snows. Otherwise, it's going the way of the dodo. So no more snow. Maybe I'll put that back on a bit later, but tropical tear, the drop box is fairly small here. So it's how many smokes wide are we? It's about 2.5 smokes wide. So if you, I'm gonna do a couple things here. I'm gonna waste some gold on some attacks here. So if you drop your troops, again, very, very basic stuff. If you were to drop your troops, say you drop a smoke right here, and you drop your troops underneath it. There are no buildings in range, so your ladies will not stay put. All troops, or all offensive troops in Boom Beach, will walk until they're in range of a defense. So if I put my smoke here, the ladies will stay underneath the smoke because they have something to shoot at. They walk, they find something to shoot at, they stop. So that my smoke drops for DrT Tropical are very, very useful, and they'll save you some GBE, but they won't work on the first couple levels because there's nothing to hold the Zookas in place. So if I do a nice drop, I'll explain this later, and no flares, they're not going to stay underneath my third smoke because there's nothing to hold them there. So it's very, very important to realize that if you're going to use smokes and you want your ladies to stay under smoke, you need to have something to hold them there. They're not just going to stay under smoke just because it's smoke. Smoke itself doesn't actually do anything. It just covers them. So you need something in range, and obviously that range depends on the troops. Heavies have short range, warriors even shorter, rifles a little bit longer. You need to do it based on the range of your troops. So stage 1, obviously no one really cares about. Anyone who can get DrT can do that. Same thing here. No need to use a flare. We'll just use the flags. Flags work as a flare. There's a couple instances where they don't work the same, but you can save some GBE. Just use flags. If I would have dropped them on the left, they would have walked to that flamethrower, and it might have caused problems if I wasn't paying attention, but dropping them on the right, get the free GBE, basic stuff. Don't need to belabor this too much. So, pretty simple stuff. It'll get a little bit tougher as we go along. Haven't had to use any smoke yet, so if you don't have smoke yet, or you don't have shocks yet, you should be able to get away with it just by using heavies and putting a couple heavies out front. So now we're getting into a little bit tougher. We've got some mines we need to clear. I'm going to show what I mean by the smoke. So, do I have my drawing app on? No, I don't. So, let's get the drawing app on. Let's close that. Got my fantasy football league there. Did not make the playoffs in my fantasy football league for the first time. So, you can see this line right here that comes along and then goes down. So your first smoke needs to cover. Wish I could change color. Can I change colors here? Let's see if I can change colors here. Let's go to purple. Hey, oh, it changes everything. That's unfortunate. So a little... Anyways, let's zoom in a bit here. Let's delete that. Oh, we could have kept it. That's too bad. So your first smoke needs to cover that. It doesn't really matter how far out it goes this way, as long as it covers this line right here. Because your first boat is going to drop right here. So if your smoke is something like this, your boat's going to come here and you're going to lose troops. Same... Oops, I forgot to turn it off. If we put it over here, if we were to drop over here, you need to cover this line, because your troops are going to drop right here. And so, regardless of where, like, if you're going to drop in the middle, it's it's tough. You have to, like, if I drop in the middle, let's say I drop in the middle here. Let's say I drop dead center. Oh, I managed to get it, but not at, and that's only with 7 boats. See, if I would have done an 8th boat, it probably would have been out the side here, and I could have lost troops. So, I never like to drop in the middle. I always like to drop out to one side or the other. So you can always, like, you can flare, you could, like, if I drop here and here, you can still get good coverage. And I'm still in the middle-ish, but I'm just off to one side a little bit, and that really, really helps with coverage. And the reason for this is, if you're to do a, so let's have a look here. If I wanted to get, say I wanted to get up to here, I would have to do, if I wanted to do a flare drop, I have to guess where the first smoke goes. I mean, you have to kind of ballpark it, and then your second smoke, like, that's pretty good, but you can see that if I get 7 boats in there, I barely fit. So if I had 8 boats, this boat would have been out of the smoke. So, and I would have had to use a flare. So, to keep it simple and to keep your delay, like, this is all about keeping your delay and saving GBE. 2 very, very important things. Every time you do a nice smoke here, and then everything builds off that. So you already know where your next smoke needs to go. It's somewhere in here. And look at that, we got perfect coverage. If I drop all my troops, perfect coverage. And there's lots of room here for an extra boat underneath that smoke. I guess that's something else I needed to show. If you look here, come on back. The boats are about there. So a little bit. I'm just gonna keep attacking. You see this water line here? Let's draw this water line here. Oops, let's delete that. Water line is about there. So now, let's drop our boats and then retreat. And you'll notice the water line shows the tops of the boats. So that's always a good way to judge where you want to drop your troops, is just watch the water line on DrT Tropical and center your smoke on the water line. So now I've talked about the edges here and the water line. So that's the way that I like to judge my smokes, and it's all about the first smoke. So just judge your first smoke to cover that corner, boom. Second smoke builds off that on the water line as well, and third smoke is just right dead centered on your flag. And boom, your ladies are up the beach. They have moved. You have used zero flares, so you've saved some GBE there. You've only used 3 smokes, which you'd use anyways. So a very, very good way to do Tropical Terror, in my opinion. That's how I do it every single time. You just have to move it left or right, and if you want to come all the way over here, say for example, you can go 1 smoke, 2 smoke, and then you can just drop your flags right in here. And because of that machine gun a little bit farther back, it doesn't work all that well, but as long as something's in range to hold them, you can use your flags as a flare and save GBE. So instead of having to spend 2 GBE, which then adds up because your next one's 3 and your next one's 4 and so on, just use flags for your first one on Tropical Terror, and you can really, really save some GBE and keep your delay. So what am I going to do here? I'm going to come up into this neighborhood. everything's pretty low level here, so then let's build our snow triangle, or our smoke triangle. I'm going to come a little bit left of center, make sure that I've got the coverage there, and then always moving in 45-degree angles, whether that be 90 or a straight line, or one was at 135. Just always moving in 45s, that way your lady's walking a nice predictable path. You don't want to be walking, like, you don't want to be going almost straight. Always try and go nice straight lines, and that way everything will be predictable. Things will go well. I'm not going to flare the core because I'm going to try and just remove a couple buildings in range. There's no point, no rush. Let's shock just in case. So, easy, easy, easy. Just trying to do the simple things well, and then your attacks will get better and better and better. And there are drops for Volcano Terror as well. I'll try and show those tomorrow, assuming that I have time. Being Saturday, it's a little bit tougher, but let's see here. So I'm gonna come, let's go back in here. Want to get rid of the flamethrowers. Flamethrowers and I don't get along all that well. Let's drop a barrage to clear those mines. Now this front fort thing, I'm not sure what it's called, I probably should, but I don't, is going to hold them in place so I can go all the way up to the front as far as I can. Still have our delay. Now we're going to go a nice straight line to the back of the core here. Ladies are going to go... I'm probably going to hit that boom mine, so let's get rid of that. Haven't really planned all that well yet. Probably need to shock. Let's do a shock here. A shock here. A shock here. It ran out of GBE. Didn't flare anything. This is not going terribly well. Oh, there we go. Let's shock you. Lost a fair bit of troops just because I wasn't planning or thinking, but I'll try and get back on the where the better idea is as opposed to just focusing on little things here. Let's have a look. Oh, I'm bringing the snow back for one. So, on this one, there are 2 rocket launchers out wide that are going to hit me. I think I'm just going to come right into here. No need to get too fancy. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 rocket launchers in range, probably. Actually, if I can get out of range of that one at least, it's only going to be 3, but still probably going to lose some troops regardless of what I do, so let's get it rolling. We'll see how this snow looks in when I upload it. I'm very curious to see. It looks kind of cool on my screen, so hopefully it does alright on yours. Trying to remove mines at the same time as buildings, just to be careful. Now, we haven't gone this side yet, so we're going to go drop the right one first, then drop the left one, and then I'm going to come up into this general area. Get some nice smoke coverage. And then we'll come at a nice 45-degree angle over into here. Gonna drop our last 2 smokes at the same time, just so they get extra coverage if they decide to leak, since we're against a wall. Gonna remember to flare core this time. Gonna use 1, 2, 3, and a medkit. This machine gun's doing a little bit of damage, but it should go down. I'm not sure if I've lost any troops. That boom kit. So we'll need probably a little bit more troop damage would have really helped here. I'm not even sure how my shocking, if I could have improved that a little bit. I didn't look all that closely, but lost 7 troops. Reasonable number, not a big deal. Stage 5. Let's see what Stage 6. Stage 6 is when it starts to get a little bit hairy. Let's see if there's any hidden mines. They like to hide mines behind sniper towers. A couple in here. Fairly easy path, at least. And then, let's see, as far as shocks go, I wonder if I can shock these two together. That looks like a tough shock, though. And then I could go like this, and then like that. That's a pretty tough set of shocks, but it could, I would get basically everything that's in range. Boom cannon is less of a concern. So let's just give that a shot, shall we? So we need to clear some mines. There's one mine back here that would be a complete pain. I like to throw the artillery so that it hits the mine and anything that might be hiding in this general area, just in case. I mean, I scouted it, but it's just a good safety precaution. Now, I'm going to use one more artillery to get rid of these mines. Now, let's have a look here. Now, there are 5 boxes in this area. These ones, so that's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 GBE potentially. So let's give it a shot and just try and see if we can get a bunch of them. I always try and spend, so that was a terrible barrage. So let's retreat. Probably getting a little bit ambitious trying to get all 5, so let's try that again and try and get 4 instead. Now, one thing to remember is that all of these buildings take damage off the headquarters. So if I can, let's move back in here. If I can throw a barrage and remove 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings, that's gonna give me back. I'm gonna spend 10 GBE and get 12 back. So I'm gonna get more GBE, and I'm gonna take health off the core. So always something I try and do. Let's throw a barrage right in here. I see too often where people, that was a terrible barrage again, will have an artillery, have not used any artillery, and they won't use it over here. Like, that's an easy way to spend 3 GBE and get 6 back, and do damage to the headquarters. Obviously, if you have to clear mines, you have to clear mines, but I'm just going to retreat. Let's try it again. I should be able to get them without problem. I just got unlucky on my barrages. Again, unlucky with the barrage. I'll move a little bit right this time. And this is how I do terror. I will retreat so many times. There's no reason to do it in 7 consecutive attacks. It doesn't do anything for you. So, come on. There we go. So that's a good barrage. I gained GBE. Let's get these mines down. Get these mines down. Get that mine down, I should say. And then I'm going to come somewhere in this neighborhood. I just want to see how much GBE I'm going to have and if that shock is possible. I'm going to have to flare somewhere up in here. Smoke, smoke, smoke. Flare core. Let's see. This should be possible, I think. Yeah, got it. And then we're going to shock somewhere in there and somewhere in there. I missed the shock on the machine gun, so I'll have to be careful about that, and then I'll have enough GBE for 2 medkits. So this should be a good terror. I'll throw the first medkit right away, and then the second one as the shocks are expiring, so I'll have 1 GBE left over. So it looks like this should be a fairly doable. Actually, let's retreat. Sorry if you thought I was going to attack there. I was just trying to show how you can make sure you have enough GBE for what you're planning. Always pays to be a bit cautious. So let's drop our barrage right in here. Hopefully get all 4 so I don't have to try this again. I do have to do it again. Apologies, just me being overly cautious. I need that extra GBE. It's only a gain of 2, but without that extra 2, I'm going to be 1 short. So come on, barrage. There we go. So we got the GBE we needed. A little bit extra. Gives me a second med kit. Let's get this going. We're gonna get our nice smokes. We're gonna get the ladies walking up nice and high. Keep our delay. So far so good. Nice fat smokes. No need to try and save anything there. Now the tough shock first. We're gonna flare the core. One health med kit or health pack. Drop the second one as the shocks are about to expire. Lost some troops to that flamethrower there, but overall that went about as perfectly as I could have hoped for, and that just shows like planning. If I wouldn't have used a proper barrage, I wouldn't have had that second med kit, so I would have lost way more troops. Let's move on here. Dr. Terror 7. I really hate spending these diamonds, but it happens. So I've got one boom mine in behind here. I've got some mines up here, some mines in here. No real free GBE. I think there's 9 over here, but that doesn't really help me. Hidden mine in there. So this is going to be tough. How much health does this have? Yeah, this is going to be a tough one. This might be a fail. Let's just have a look here. Next. Sorry about that. Bit of my wife coming in to laugh at me. So, actually no, I need to clear some mines. I can't use my GB to do that. Oh, my snow is still on. I forgot about that. I haven't looked at the screen. Sorry about that. I can't see the snow on my Android device. So let's see what's the best way to do this. There's another mine in behind there, so I'm gonna try and get. Let's go right in here. Just clear all these mines just to be sure. I think I would have had to use 3. Now, do I have enough for that boom mine? It might. I'm gonna clear the boom mine for now. Let's just see how much GBE I have. Now you see I've got 5 GBE here. Always use it. I get 1 back and the core health goes down. Never ever leave yourself with 5 GBE if you can use it on 2 crates, for example. Now people might dispute that and say use it on the headquarters. You'd have to do the math to see how it works out, but for me I want the extra 1 GB. Oh, I didn't want to use my troops yet. Whoops, that was a mistake. For me, I want the extra 1 GB because you saw on stage 6 how well that 1 extra GBE can help you. So I'm gonna barrage in here in the hopes I can get the bottom boom mine. Probably not gonna happen. And I missed the top boom mine as well, so I won't redo it because I know I can get that top boom mine. I'm gonna remove that, and I'm gonna drop it right here. So let's go, I'm going to go in somewhere in here, drop, and then it'll be a nice smoke path up into here. I'll have to flare up here, I'll have to flare the core. Now what are we going to shock? We're going to shock these mortars and machine gun. And I'll probably want to shock these flamethrowers and the mortar. And then something like that. So I'll have enough for 1 med kit. So not bad. It's oh, I didn't even see you down there. I didn't shock that shock launcher. So let's try that again. I have enough for 3 shocks. I won't re-attack, but actually I'll just do it without any smoke. So I have enough for 3 shocks. I need to shock. I'm gonna ignore the boom cannon. Try and get both mortars and the sniper towers. That's a good shock. You definitely need to shock those flamethrowers. And then I'm going to have to check the range on that shock launcher. So I'm going to have to pick the shock launcher or the rocket launcher. And for me, I can probably overheal with a med kit that rocket launcher, but if that shock launcher hits me, it's game over. Let's just check the range. It's going to be tight. The shock launcher probably will turn, so gonna have to use a med kit and hope that rocket launcher doesn't melt me. So let's see how it looks in real life. Oh, we're back through the whole playlist already, so you might recognize this song. Already heard it once. Apologies. Poor planning on my part. I think I can maybe get around that one boom mine, so let's clear this boom mine. I really hope I don't hit that mine. I'll try to go a little bit left just in case. So let's give it a shot, see how it goes in reality. It's gonna be tight, can't guarantee a win. I might end the video on a loss, we'll see. Let's go a little bit left with my flare, just to try and avoid those mines. Should be okay. I like to drop this smoke a little bit right, because the troops tend to leak out to the right hand side there. Oops, I forgot to use my artillery on this. Last second. Let's drop our shock, medkit. Come on, medkit, keep... Oh, we might have a chance, we might have a chance. Wait, one more shot! And Dr. Terror stage 7 goes down unboosted. These are all let's make it snow. That makes me happy. So it's all 7 stages complete. Those are unboosted. Look how messy my attack. Look how messy this is. But you'll see unboosted, not a problem. Fairly happy with those results. Level 46, unboosted, all 7 stages. Let's look at the. I can't even look at the rewards because I spammed it. So pay attention if you want to see what kind of rewards you get. I have no idea how many intel I got. I don't think I got any other crystals. I probably would have noticed, but I couldn't tell you what I got for shards or anything like that. That is my back to the basics, Dr. Terror Tropical. If there's any other questions you have, I have been playing at a fairly high level for a long time, so I've forgotten a lot of these things. Most of the things that I talked about are things that people have asked about, because a lot of these things I've done every day for like 2 years at this point. So let's... Oh, look at I got a level 44 on my map. Oh, of course you're online. So if you have anything that I didn't talk about, or anything that I did that doesn't make sense to you or looks kind of wonky, by all means, please let me know. The best way for me to come up with things to talk about is by comments, and I really appreciate. I've got a couple people that comment quite often. I really appreciate it. So keep the comments coming. It helped me build content, helps me build better content, and it helps me help you, essentially. So help me help you. I don't know what movie that's from. I'm terrible at pop trivia or whatever you want to call it. So this is gonna be another one of those medkit attacks where it's gonna be all about the medkit. So let's get the medkits flying. I missed my top shock on that rocket launcher, so it's gonna be all medkit on this one. And this is why I upgraded the medkit, because I love spamming medkits. It helps you not plan all that. I didn't even see he's got 4 ice, so... That's me. It's Zed. Enjoy your snow day. Hopefully it's sunny where you are, because it sure isn't sunny here, but it's fantastic up in Canada when it snows. I'm on the west coast near the ocean, so it's usually pretty warm. So stay warm, enjoy your Friday, and that's Dr. Terror Tropical. Cheers!